Alright, I'm going to attempt a quick walkthrough, or as quick as I can, on where we are with Tesseract. Just a quick, basically just stepping through from the public or Bloom Tech lab side, README, showing you where the hidden gems are that I didn't know about, that I would have found by just stepping through this right at the first. So, if you're with me, here we go. All right, so we're going to come on down. It does let you know there's some required dependencies. If you're going to need Docker, not a problem at all if you're into Linux. Not sure how it is for you iOS users, but for Windows, oh boy. You're going to also need, you'll need Get LFS2 for large files systems for Git, but you'll also need, just for Docker, you'll need WSL for Windows. I don't know what it's exactly. I don't remember. It's Windows something Linux, but it's basically, yes. That's how I remember it. It's Windows, enabling Linux. But you need that, and you also need to do some adjusting in your BIOS. You have to go set virtualization. You have to find where virtualization features are in your BIOS and turn those on. I'm sure you'll probably have to Google that because every system's BIOS is different. I'd talk you through that one, but I can't really. If I put this up, if there's comments, leave comments if I can. I'll help any way I can, or maybe somebody else in the comments will be able to help you with the specific systems. But you can also Google anything these days. If not, ask ChatGPT. They'll tell you step by step. All right, so we're going through. We're just going to pretend we've gotten. If not, we can click here, go there, click on the right one. We're gonna, for me it would have been Windows. Let's go to new tabs though, because I don't want to keep this one here. I went ahead with Docker Desktop for Windows. It's been working fine. The first time I ever installed Docker before, I think I did it with a different package. I didn't use the desktop. But yes, here's where it warns you. You will need BIOS level hardware virtualization support enabled in the BIOS settings. So you have to get into your BIOS. To do that, you restart Windows. You'd have to hit the F10, the delete key, or the F2, or whatever your computer tells you to do to get into the startup or the BIOS, or to, something, whatever it gives you, something, some kind of prompt, something to hit. And if it doesn't, Google that. You're gonna find it. All right. Once you get Google or Docker up and running, once you're done all your Googling, we will go through. You don't have to do any of the rest of these steps after you've got it installed. This is just this is installing from the command line. That's unnecessary unless you'd like to. But you don't have to do. There's another couple steps for once you install Docker to open and run an example container. Don't worry about all that. You don't need that. You can do it if you want. You're just going to delete it anyway, or maybe have it running on your computer. I don't know. I didn't do it. Never needed it. Maybe that's why this isn't working. But let's run it. Now we've got steps. Clone the repository following Linux OS X, or the following on Windows. So I had to do all this. But first I had to get Git also. I was working on new machine, no dependencies, no libraries, no Python history at all. So I had nothing, bare bones. So I had to go down as far as to install Miniconda, install Git, but once you get all your so you do need a couple more things besides just these dependencies. I'll start by saying that's not as clear as it should probably be. If this was to be a startup guide for somebody coming in fresh. Next, I've cloned that repo just to prove it to you. We'll go over there now and take a look-see. I'm going to go ahead and get a PowerShell opened up because we'll be needing that as well. And why not? everybody has Oop. Let's do that again, but with the little tabular action. And see, there it is. Well, that's not necessarily proving you anything to you, is it? It's called scribblestadium-ds, and that's it. It takes that and it will clone that into whichever directory you're in when you run that file. So be sure you where you want to be doing your work. I would suggest, if you can avoid, let's say you're starting a brand new computer and want to start this all fresh, if you can avoid a space in your username, just do it. It's not always a problem, but I have had issues running into that coding in the past where I didn't know how to handle that space. It's not that big a deal anymore, maybe some, but you know, if you can avoid it. I also like to do, some people probably would disagree with this, I like to do base level stuff with DS, so I don't have so many path steps to get through to get to where I need to be. But then it's not really hidden behind any users. There's no password protection. So it just depends on your own security level. All right, moving along. Docker image, Docker compose. So now that we've got, this is okay. And this is another thing I didn't really enjoy particularly, is that after you do things, it tells you what the above will likely do. Like, this one is a really good one too. The above will likely fail without a Google credential. So I mean, don't give me the steps and then tell me it's going to fail afterwards. I feel like I'm going to go through the steps. Like, I probably would have just done this had I not read, very specifically Linux OS X. But it's not much difference. Honestly, that's just, they're able to do it in one fell swoop. This one's 3 different, smudge on and off after the clone. All right, so I don't know about, maybe I don't want to avoid downloading all training data. Maybe that's an issue I'm having. That's a question I'm going to ask. All right, that's a good question right there. But in the meantime, we're going to run it. That's an interesting, that could instantly be it, couldn't it? I don't know, there's a lot of training data. I'll have to take a look. All right, so then we are going to be skipping the API run because we don't need this either. Again, this will only work, above will only work from here to here. Will only work if you have Google creds. I currently don't. And then you can go to here to view an interactive Swagger documentation of this API. But it runs without the documentation, so what we're going to do is do a docker compose, and that's in a Docker container. We're going to run this straight up in the same directory as the GitHub repository. So here we are, Control V, and then let me get Docker up here for you too. That just 10 seconds ago. I wish I could have showed you that live. I mean, believe me, there was nothing here. It was just the opening screen that pops up. I mean, it's showing you, obviously, it's 20 seconds ago. I'll show you what it looked like earlier. I hate doing it. I probably have a million of these already deleted and reran, so what's a couple more? I'll figure out how to prune them all later. But just that quickly, you can spin up this first image. It takes longer to delete it, honestly. But this is normally what it looks like when you first open it. There's guides, just run a sample container. You don't need to do that. So when you're looking at all this, you don't need to do anything. You don't do anything with Docker except have it, own it, and then run this command in your terminal. And then boom, you're going to get Scribble CMDS, Scribble OCR train. When you click on it, it'll allow you to see some things I do understand, most things I do not, that are here. But yes, the containers, when you go to them, there's a couple of different places. I'm still having a difficult time with a couple of them finding where the tabs for certain ones will have tabs. For terminal, for log, and for something else. And so I don't know, but here we are. So we're gonna keep on moving. Let's make haste. So once the Docker complete builds the image, run the container using the following command. All right, so we're gonna run that. Control C. I'm just Control C it over here. And since if you can't Control V, you can right click. If the right click doesn't do it, a Shift Insert will. And it's looking like we've started. And I hope this doesn't get me DMCA'd. Hopefully not enough people see this or hear this. But it shouldn't, because I'm just going to go ahead and give proper respect due to my old crew. Homemade Weapons, find them on SoundCloud. Homemade Weapons, sets, recordings is where I like to find them. It's all one word, soundcloud.com. But yeah, he's my buddy. He used to live in Baltimore, lives out in Seattle now. Done a lot of UK drum and bass, a lot of his own production, but this is his style. Let's be consistently like this. Chill tech, dark-ish. Yeah, anyway. So while that's done, okay, cool. I can't tell. It looks like this has started and nothing's okay. We got at least a blinking cursor now. So it looks like we're open and we're running, and this is okay. So yeah, as far as I'm understanding, now we should have our when we click on it, yeah, okay. We have our terminal. We have inspect, and we have logs, and now it's running. Okay, so we're pretty happy about this, because if it's run of the mill, it ain't running. Let me stress this. It's all about the F word, freshness. I didn't plan this, by the way. Than 1,000 sheep. All right, to train a model from the container, use. Here we go. And now this is where it likes to snag. You know, we get our make. I think we did our first make, and everything was pretty dandy. So we're gonna do the from here, even though we could. I think the same. You know, just not the. Okay, let's keep it consistent, because I'm pretty sure we go here, and it's still. Ooh, I don't like that at all. What in the wonky? Copy that. We're gonna right click and a right click. Okay. And we got things happening, and that's always good. As long as things happen and it's not an immediate jump crash, then I'm usually pretty stoked. All right, that did things. I'm okay with. Except still the terminal here is blank, which is not to me optimal. I'd rather all my everything be in one place if I'm gonna have logs. But devs, let's move. We've got created started. It looks like loaded file, unpacking, failed to continue. Okay, this is that failed to continue. All right, this is when we get to the make error. When we get to the make error, and this was a big one. This had me for a while, and I had, had a couple of us for a while, I think. I don't know if I had missed something in here that discusses this. Let me double check that. No, it's the same thing anyway. So this is telling us to go ahead and train a model from within the container. Obviously doesn't work. So what we need to do from here, or what I would suggest, and the only thing that worked for me, is to move into structure experiments. We're going to find another markdown. And look how deep. Move into the 220201. We'll call it that. You get it. The 2022-0201 folder. And then move into the experiment.md file. And then click on that once for your loveliness. And then there's a lot of to-dos, which is neat, but it does have some things we need. I guess this probably was nearing the end of the labs and didn't make it. So this is to be done. So Windows PowerShell. So now that we have git LFS and all of that, we can run this command, but not until not until after these. First, okay, Linux and OS X, first acquire training data. We'll need to do this. Pretty sure we've done this, but I don't think I've tried it here. I don't think it will do anything here, honestly, either, but we're gonna give it a try. Yeah, I didn't think so, but we will try it here. Just to be sure, because it was a Kaggle data problem that we were getting. So, yeah. And yet I'd still do that rather than type it again. All right, we're up to date. So this ought to be the one. So if we go ahead and run this command, or yes, this is the one, I believe. Okay. Linux and OS, that's that. Windows. Okay, so no, that wasn't the one. Windows, it's still that command, right? LFS, the pool. Get pool, LFS, guest, or something, truth. We're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it again. But we're gonna run this as a piped command so that it does something with, it's looping here. It's doing a little fancy thing I'm not really all that abreast on. To be fully honest with you, I haven't looked everything up here because I'm interested in really trying to get some data fed to this model and hopefully some results. So we're gonna let that run. I think what I had work was I got to run this first part of the command by itself, which seemed to be fine, and then I did this. I don't know, but then none of it was working. So I just went and downloaded the Kaggle data set myself and placed them where I thought they should be. So then I thought I could just run through, and it might just work again. But it still looks like we're getting tripped up on the same thing. But there's a couple things I haven't run again. So let's see on the new container. Lastly, though, I'm gonna do a user interrupt on this because we've decided this is not supposed to take 20 minutes. So we're assuming that we've acquired the training data. And let's see what happens here with this error and to see if it's still tripping on the same place. And we're going to run this Docker compose that usually goes execute the training container. So that's separate. It's a separate training container. So we can even take a look out at containers here. Now it's going to be Docker Compose YML. It's going to be building up structured experiments. It might be the same one. I'm pretty sure it's going to build the same one, honestly. Let's see. Well, we got 18 of 18 and finished. So that's positive. Google credit's fine. I mean, that's not erroneous. So, if that worked, then I think that, and this is where I'm really unsure, I think now this is supposed to work. Wait, what? Yeah. English train data. It's looking for, and it's got, whoa, it's got some weird, it's got some double thing happening here. Train test data, like it's yeah. All right, so I've got some redundancy in my file tree. I need help. Run. All right, but yeah, that's where I'm at. So you know, if anybody is able to help guide me a little bit just to get this ball rolling, I mean, we're not far. And I don't even know once we do, then how far it's going to be to actually get any progress made. So it's like, help. Actually, though, while I'm here, let me see. This was just the end of this part, right? We're gonna move some things. Might as well at least move some things. Close off for this. Alright, but there's no... Oh wait, there's data, have round trip, blah blah blah, and then there's Let's not do that. I don't even think I can run this. I don't have a single dependency. I need to set up a virtual environment still and everything. Yep. All right. So, in case we don't get to chat, you know where I'm at. 1 love.